Chair.
Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a contribution on part two, and I would say, Mr. Chair, that this is one of the really two substantive parts of this bill. This is a bill which is exceptionally controversial, one which divides the country, one which divides the House, and Mr. Chairman, is one where I think it is important to have full debate. And I know I'm not meant to draw attention of absence of members of the House, but I think I can say that I was away for about a quarter of an hour of this debate, but in all the time that I've been here, I've only heard one substantive call from the government. Mr. Chairman, I think it is important that ministers in the committee stage do make proper contributions and to respond. Now, Mr. Chairman, to emphasise the importance of this part, I want to indicate to you, as I'm sure you're aware from looking at all the clauses, that this part 2, between clauses 9 and 42, sets out the interception capability duties that apply to network and service providers under the bill. Now, Mr. Speaker, there is a primary duty which sits here, which is very similar, substantially the same as has been in place under the current Act from 2004. But what subpart 2 does, and that's between clauses 11 and 20, it provides for a reduction of the full interception capability by introducing lesser duties that will apply to certain classes of network operators. And I do want to give notice to the Minister. I am going to come back to those schools in West Auckland that are providing network services to parents in their particular area, and ask whether in fact they will have a duty to comply with clauses 9 and 10. And I'm sort of gathering from the way the Minister's head shook earlier, and one could just about hear the rattles from back here, that would not apply. But then the question is whether they have an obligation to be intercept ready, or whether they have a duty to be intercept accessible. And that is really my understanding is that they will end up having to be intercept accessible. And then just ask the question, Mr. Chairman, if an organisation has to be internet accessible, and it is something like a school board, whether in fact it is appropriate for the GCSB or the SIS being or for that matter the police, if it is a police matter. And I think there's been quite a lot of discussion here about the intelligence agencies and their surveillance, but not a lot of discussion about the surveillance on the part of the police. And my question, Mr. Chairman, is to the Minister, will this duty to be intercept accessible apply to schools that are providing internet service provision to their communities? And there might only be 1,000 of them. Now, I understand if they don't go over 4,000, they don't have the full requirements. But if there's only a few hundred parents, what is the requirement that is there? And the question then is, if the level of interception capability which is required from that school operator, my understanding is that there's a provision in the bill for the level of that to be increased, not by legislation, but by a decision by a minister about a particular provider. And I mean, one of the very serious questions I've got, Mr. Chairman, is whether it is appropriate for a minister, not in the case of a proper warranted arrangement and all the things that are meant to happen under the GCSB and SIS legislation, but just at the whim of a minister, the entire organisation has to provide an increased level of interception capability. Mr. Speaker, I accept that there's an ability for the affected network operator to make submissions to a minister. there's got to be certain consultation, and the criteria have to be taken, and the applicable criteria have to be taken. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Paul Hutchison.
Move that the question be now put.
Order. The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. Ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 61, the noes are 58. I will put the questions. The first question is the Minister's amendment set out on SOP number 366. The question is the Minister's amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. Ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 61, the noes 58. The Minister's amendments are agreed to. We come to Claire Curran's amendment inserting new clause 35A set out on SOP number 370. The question is that Claire Curran's amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. Noes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct the party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes in favour.
Green Party.
14 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 votes in favour.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 56, the noes are 63. The amendment is not agreed to. The question now is that Part 2, as amendment, stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 vote opposed.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 61, the noes 57. Part 2 as amended will stand part. Members, we come to Part 3, the debate on clauses 43 to 54A. So the question is that Part 3 stand part. Ian Lees-Galloway. Point of order.
Point of order, sir. Whilst it's not in order to question your decision to accept the closure motion as you did on Part 2, I'd like to ask your advice about how you're going to approach Part 3. Part 2 was an extremely substantive part of this bill, and yet we managed only an hour's debate on part 2. Part 3 is